And the Daily Telegraph focuses on events in Ukraine with a warning that the White House will take catastrophic action if Russia uses nuclear weapons in Ukraine. Now, a freed British prisoner of war has accused Russian separatists in Ukraine of using him as a punching bag during his days of torture. John Harding was one of 5 Britons freed in a recent prisoner swap with Russia. He's now back in the UK and has been speaking to Sky's Aisha Zahid.
When Russia's bombardments of Mariupol intensified earlier in the year, hundreds surrendered to Russian-backed forces at steelworks in the city. John Harding was one of them. Now free after a prisoner exchange, he may be away from the darkest days he experienced during this war, but they're not behind him. Here he describes one of the worst beatings he experienced.
I was lying on the floor with my hands cuffed behind my back, and I was kicked in the chest, ribs, kidneys, in my face, and and one guy was actually stood on my hips, jumping up and down on me for a while. That lasted about 30 minutes, but it could have been longer, could have been shorter. To be honest, like, there's a few times I wish they'd just get it over with. If you're going to be killed, better just get it over with.
On an emotional level, do you think you've even begun to process what you've been through?
No. Obviously, I can't speak for the people, but for me, it's been an emotional roller coaster. You go from joking about your experiences to not being able to articulate your feelings.
John says guards often beat him for fun, leaving him with numerous injuries. He suffered nerve damage to his hands, has several cracked ribs, his sternum detached from his ribcage, and he has a broken coccyx. His sister Denise described the day he came home.
When he came into the room, he looked okay. He looked all right. And then I realised the damage they'd done. He took off his top, his jerkin, and I could see the ribs, and I could see this bone and his hands where they'd damaged him. I knew then. And that's when I gave him the biggest hug. I just said, John, sorry, what have they done to you?
Just like those he returned with, John's focusing on his recovery, but no doubt he'll be left with scars that last a lifetime. Aisha Zahid, Sky News in Hertfordshire.